Eric A Manus and the Dream of the Cities in the Sky, brought to you by electricsoupforthesoul.com. Be sure to visit us at electricsoupforthesoul.com. The Celebrated City. Tumbling through the air, Eric Manus thought hard, recalling how Jesus said, "Humanity's blind in heart, empty, but seek, so you shall find," in Thomas. He thought about the great emptiness of living and wondered when the less became his entire life. When did desire give way to nothing more than tiredness? Manus remembered when he had been a boy, naive, young, and innocent. Each Saturday he had climbed an oak tree to feel sad, to ask for God's guidance, to ask for strength to climb down, determined to do his part to better the lot of folks in pain. I wonder when I stopped caring about others. Eric summoned thoughts of the night in college when he spent hours in praying with the girl in her wheelchair who smothered her sobs as she shared her pain with him. Another time, a man in a black car parked just off campus had slapped his girlfriend, and Manus helped her escape. Now, at my age, I would just walk past. When did I lose my passion for my fellow beings, the empathy I once pursued above all else, the pure love that flooded me with zeal for life? Jesus said, "My soul aches for children of today. These beings are blinded, cut off from their hearts, empty they depart this world as they came. All are drunken." Manus realized then, with a start, that he had lost touch with his own heart. "I'm blown up, just puffed air, puffed by my wants. My soul has become part of the dark." Dropping down through space as gracefully as a rock dropping down a hole, Manus saw at last a proper urban wonderland, a city that seemed whole. Giant skyscrapers rose in outline in the dark, glazed by shining lights, a ring of structures, all of it centered round a concrete slab on the inside, like a cement island roundabout, skirted by all the buildings and routes. A dark shadow moved about on the smooth slab, but Manus' gaze was drawn around. "'Tis the best I've found," Manus said, as he saw the illuminated city that rose below. All about people were aglow as bright images, crowds of happy, colorful folks. At last, people, just like me, though they're able to walk upright. Ah, to talk to someone normal would give me hope. So Manus scanned from top to bottom, left to right, the whole horizon, the lit building outlines down to the routes that zigzagged between glass formations. Everywhere, smiling faces, pasted on mammoth billboards, etched onto glass storefronts, facade projections on posters, magazine covers, set in copper as statues. People drank festive toasts, wore the latest clothes, gave high fives in video, hugged SUVs, sniffed picture-perfect meals, though none ate. Inside of Manus an anger stirred, of unknown source, yet still ferocious. The flashes one feels when beset by waves of nausea, plus hunger. All around him were these colored signs for products with people props. All kinds of goods for sale, just none was good enough to satisfy the longing inside. Bitter tears formed at the corner of his eyes and rolled down over his wrinkled brow, then dripped down his hair's length. Manus, hung upside down, was flustered. People everywhere, but none for me to speak to. People stuffed into photo frames, bodies in shell games. This city must be perdition. When angriest, Manus at last saw that down in the center of it all was one little man, a full one-man band, who handled all the projections in center of the ring of buildings, his fingertips poised over machines that controlled each of the images, was this tiny ant human being. In a land which lacks creative thought, a man with an idea is God. For hour after hour on empty towers, video people were launched. It was clear the city was a stage, nothing but projected image. The Ant-Man, it seemed, lacked humanity. He ignored Manus' pleas while he played on with his full-scale model city. Oblivious to Eric's need to commune with another, this man just preferred the dance of puppet beings. Manus once had read a T-shirt that said, "If I come back as a bird, I know who I'd crap on." In his bird mask, Eric determined that the author of all these interwoven plastic, flashing, flat, neon electric projections deserved such gifts on the birds. Inspired, Manus hatched a plan right quick. using finely tuned screeches and cries overheard from his time in the sky. Manus proceeded to summon bird friends from all the cities he had passed by. Like a feathered cloud, they assembled pelicans, rheas, ducks, megapodes, spurfowl, crows, turkeys, quail, partridges, kiwis, loons, albatrosses, storks, and petrels. On Eric's signal, as one, they set loose a barrage of immense and dense bird droppings, a turd tsunami that engulfed the city in its mess. Manus watched as below him the glass and plastic constructions let pass the work that had just let loose. It was such a monocentric city that at last, there in the center of it all, in the cauldron of this wasteland mall, the sole intended recipient did get hit. "Shit!" came the amplified call. "You are emptied by what you let out, not by what you put in your mouth." So stated Jesus, as writ by Thomas. "I am what I waste, without a doubt." Shit truly does only run one way, Manus mused. This city celebrates a world personal, a self-actualized whirlpool. This man below has made nothing more than a large sinkhole, a drain in which individuals slowly get sucked, a void that eats up people. I must get loose of its pull. Fortunately for Manus, the act of collective bird backblast had, unnoticed by him while he'd reflected, trajected his own body back up in the air towards the place where hovered the edge of the atmosphere. Before he shot away from this strange place, he turned to look at the man's features. I must be crazed, Manus thought, as the scene faded. I know that man. His face is mine. Behind the curtain, 'tis I. Gripped by a groggy paralysis, he struggled to awake, to free himself from the lethargy of sleep, to force open eyelids superglued tight shut by dark slumber. He was zoning closer to consciousness, like a person feels for the on switch when entering their home at night. Then, at last, the light. Eric A. Manus lay there afterwards and recalled the entire dream, all of the details, until he'd seen a fact that shocked him. To his core, as dim truth dawned bright. I'm a drop in the stream. Looking back, Manus realized that each face he'd seen along the way had been his own. Shadows were all he had known. He'd become Phoenix through life's playback. Yet there in his pocket was the book that I found when I took a look. It hadn't been there before I'd slept. Ere I stood, feathers from my clothes shook. The end of our tale.